Yes, we are back. It is episode 28 of the fAnaticZ podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Damien.
Frankie.
Dylan looking at some potential breaking news bombs over here.
Ooh, what per se?
The Gamma bomb saying that Dbacks have agreed to a 5-year, $18 million contract with reliever Justin Martinez. The deal was agreed to in the past couple of days pending a physical. Posted an hour ago, pretty much. So it is our J Mart.
That definitely gives that's a lot of confidence in J Mart locking him down for 5 years.
Only $18 million too? That's crazy.
Not bad.
Not only that, but it's like the kid's got a lot of potential, and his fastball is ridiculous.
Well, here's to hoping, right?
I mean,
Well,
if we can have him and Puck lock things down, that's definitely what we were missing last year.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a sign. Sorry, I think that'd be a sign pointing him being closer. But Torrey announced the other day that he's just gonna put out who's the best available out there.
Yeah, I was
So
gonna say, I thought I heard it was gonna be some kind of like a situational rotation.
yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I still feel like we need a guy that's out there like consistently. You know.
I think they're
So
spending a lot of money on pitching right now, so they're probably not going to go sign someone off the, they're probably not going to go for like a top level closer because we already have like, Gallen, Burns, Merrill Kelly. We got a lot of people to pay in that pitching in the dugout. So, yeah, I
mean,
get it. I get it.
I mean,
Financially.
the wild thing is that's not even the most surprising Diamondbacks news in the past couple days.
What's more surprising?
The fact that no matter, we know how much we're giving Corbin Burns, but how about Zach Gallen being not notched as the opening day starter?
it's cool, I guess. I mean, it's Gallen's been here way longer than Corbin Burns, honestly. So it's been his team, but he can easily lose that number one spot and get pushed down. So
Yeah, I
I was
think
gonna say either way, it's Gallen's going into a contract year, so it's in his position, it's you look really good, you get a good extension, or you get paid elsewhere, or it can go south like it did with Montgomery.
I think it's good. Like Dylan said, he's been here. He's been good here. He's been the best player on the team at a point. So it's like you don't just cast him aside, and I think that builds confidence with him and the organization. Like, hey, you're still the guy here. Go out this year and perform. So hopefully he takes it with some fire under his butt and throws some strikeouts early on.
Not only that, but it's just like top to bottom. I think this year, if everybody can stay healthy, this is probably our best rotation in over a decade. If probably not the best rotation on paper we've ever had. If you want to count, top to five, 1 to 5 quality.
No, we'll never be as well. We were close in our World Series this year to being as good, in my opinion, as the Kurt Schilling, Randy Johnson, Tony Womack, Luis Gonzalez. That lineup was freaking ridiculously stacked. I think that we had the similar thing with Cattell, Corbin, Walker, Gallen. But if we would have had Burns with that team, oh man, we could have rivaled. We could rival that 2001 squad, but I think that squad is like the holy grail for the Diamondbacks. I don't know if we'll ever be that good again.
I mean, I look at it this way, though. I mean, it hurts losing Christian Walker, especially to the Astros. But how about our organization and knowing that in a pinch that you're going to go get a guy like Josh Naylor, and possibly, you're going to take that dip a little bit defensively, but offensively, I think we stayed just as good, if not better. And I think, as we've discussed in previous episodes, like we don't miss a beat in terms of production at all.
yeah, with Christian Walker, he's having oblique issues already and again. So I feel like the front office kind of knows, like, hey, like he's getting older. Yeah, he plays well in the regular season, doesn't show up when it matters most, but his body's kind of giving out on him, especially that oblique. He's been having those issues. So I feel like they kind of made the right decision looking back on it now because dude's already hurt, and who knows he's going to get hurt more than once too with Houston. So
Yeah,
And
and
speaking
with an
of guys,
offense,
go ahead,
sorry,
Dave. Sorry.
and with an
You're,
offense like ours, I mean, we needed to get pitching. You know, we have people that are capable of hitting home runs and capable of getting RBIs and getting on base without Christian Walker. So I feel like them spending money heavily in the pitching direction kind of lines up with getting rid of, some more expensive people like Christian Walker. And it looks like you said, like it's going to be the right decision. So I'm pretty happy with it. In
nothing's missing.
hindsight,
Nothing's missing offensively, really.
not really.
So and from my understanding, Josh really never gets hurt. So he just goes through slumps here and there. That's his only thing. Like he'll get really, really hot, and then he'll get really, really cold. So
I mean, we dealt with that with Suarez last year, so I mean, we'll
Dude,
be fine.
that's every baseball player that's good at hitting that isn't like known for consistency.
But yeah, we were talking injuries. I don't know if you guys paid attention the other day, but Erod had an amazing start. That was probably one of the first times in a while that I've seen him back to his all-star form. He went only a couple innings, strike out 6 guys. So if you're looking at him as being the number 4 or 5 guy, that's pretty good, especially him coming off of a very disappointing season last year.
No, very good. I know. I was checking the sports book. I think I was on FanDuel, and we're like minus 330 or something to win 80 games, and we're like minus 135 to win 90 games.
Oh dang!
Yeah, so they're expecting us to do better than we've done the last couple of years.
Well, I was gonna say the only thing in our division. I mean the only one above us in our division is the one that has a printing press in their clubhouse.
Right. No, they got the all-star team over there.
But it's nice to know that generally we've been a very historically smaller market team, but we're right in that top 6, top 7 teams in baseball.
Yeah. Dude, that light is killing me.
oh shit, my bad. I would say, of course, it would go down because we're already whooping 2 games behind LA in the standings now. So
Yeah.
Ooh.
I thought baseball
right?
started that Tokyo series really confused the hell out of me.
Yeah, it makes no sense. Like, why wait like a full 10 days after that series for everybody else?
It just made the wait even worse.
I was gonna say because you saw a little bit of it, and then you're just like, wow, they just ripped it away from us, and they're making us wait.
That's crazy. Baseball should never do that. Never do that again, MLB. What is that? Let's
No,
start the season.
To me,
But
that's almost like that split that we had between the last regular season NFL game and the draft.
now the D-backs are going to be facing the Cubs that are already 0-2 though to start off the season.
Right. That's
How rough is
that
that?
could be a blessing and a curse.
I was gonna say that Craig Counsell contract's not doing well for the Cubs right now.
They're going to be facing Gallen and then Burns back to back, and then probably Kelly. That's going to be rough.
So
They
they
Yeah.
could
could
start off the
potentially be
season
1-4
1-4.
or 5.
Yeah, 1-4 or 0-5. Yeah.
Jeez. And it's crazy because the Cubs team does have talent.
Yeah, I like the Cubs. They got a good little pitching lineup too. They got Shota, and then they got that guy. What's his name? Jameson.
Tyon or whatever.
Yes, that guy. Him and those two are really good. Those guys are pitchers that I like to watch pitch. But screw those guys. We're talking about the Dbacks here, man. Yeah, the Dbacks.
But
Our
that's our
pitchers are much
opponent's
more
opening
impressive.
day though.
Huh?
That's next. That's our opponent's opening day though. That's next
Okay,
week.
yeah. So I guess that is on topic then.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah. That's next week though. So our episode next week is actually gonna be on opening day.
That's awesome.
So yeah.
Oh yeah. But no, I think if we can lock things down, especially in the bullpen, the sky's the limit. And honestly, I think this team can win 100 games if you count all our offensive firepower and Burns, Gallen, Kelly, etc.
Yes, the team could win 100 games, but they're gonna find a way to not win 100 for sure.
So, like the Cardinals are gonna make an over under right now. I can look up
Let's
the
do it.
current over. I can look up the current over under real quick on FanDuel. Like,
Hey,
or
we were
Yeah, go
pretty
ahead.
close on the freaking Cardinals this year. We almost locked it.
we were a
Yeah.
half
If they
game
would have
under.
won that last game that they totally should have won, we would have been having the whole. We would have been right. We would have been right.
But
MLB
we just keep doing this kind of things. You know, credibility sells.
win totals. So take a wild guess what the over under win total is for the D-backs right now.
87.5.
That's 86.5.
Yeah, boy. Look at that. I didn't even look at that shit.
So are we just gonna go based off of FanDuel's or our own?
We can do whatever we want. If you like FanDuel's, we can stick with
Frankie
FanDuel's.
says 80. You said 92, Frankie?
I think he said 90 plus.
I'm gonna go with 95.
Wow.
So we're gonna go over under what, 90?
No,
90 games?
let's do 88.5.
That's fair.
88.5?
That gives us an easy out if you think that they're gonna do under it. So let's do 90.5.
I like that. I like 90.5. See if they can hit over that 90 mark.
Because I mean, think about it. Last year we were at 89, and we had absolutely nothing for pitching in terms of that back half.
So then we would all automatically have to pick over because you got to think that Corbin Burns amounts for 2 more wins, right? At least.
So the Dodgers over under is currently 105.5.
Oh, they're going under that, bro. What the fuck? That's crazy. Even though they got the all-star team squad, I don't believe it.
Dude, I think the Dodgers are gonna hit 97, 98. They're not gonna be that much better than us.
I could see them winning like 95 to 98 games.
They're projecting the Padres the over under 85.5, which is a game under the D-backs. So we're projected to be in second place of the NL West technically. Well, let me check the Giants real quick. Then check the Giants, but they're supposed to be dog water. Yeah, 79.5. So they're projecting us to be in second place, basically. So
Dang.
wild card team possible.
Man, I swear, if you're in this division, you've got to hate being a Rockies fan right now.
Yeah.
Like even a Giants fan is just like, really? They used to be the top of the division. Now they're like 4th under the Diamondback, the Dodgers, Diamondbacks, and Padres right now.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm excited for opening day. We're a week away, or 6 days away now. So,
Thank goodness.
mm-hmm.
We've had some pretty disappointing sports this year. So it's nice. It's wild to think that the Diamondbacks are that pick-me-up right now, though.
They were the pick-me-up last year, too. Remember it? Until they crashed and burned.
That's fair.
But you want to know what's also wild?
The Wildcats who play tonight?
Nobody cares about the Wildcats. Well, I'm kidding. We can talk about that. We can talk about that later. But the Suns are all of a sudden in play-in tournament right now.
Yes.
Crazy.
And the Dallas Mavericks have everybody in the emergency room.
I wish I can go back to one of our episodes and replay the clip of replaying me saying the possibility of Dallas just collapsing and us just winning a couple more and sliding in, and boom, look what happened.
Hey, I'll tell you what, you find that, clip it, and I got you.
Hell yeah, for sure. I think it might be like an episode or 2 back, 3 max.
Yeah, send it to me.
I just have to find we were talking about the Suns.
Because we want to make our calls.
Yep. But that doesn't mean that everything's just okay and the fire in the background is out and it's just rainbows and sunshine. There's still plenty of concern out there. So
there's still a lot of concern. The fact that we play better without Bradley Beal makes no sense at all.
It makes a lot of sense. We should have stopped trading people after we got KD initially. We should have kept
Yeah.
Chris Paul and DA and just thugged it out. But it is what it is. We're figuring it out. And if Bradley Beal has to sit down in order for us to be good, then that will make Bradley Beal open his trade clause because he doesn't want to sit. He wants to play basketball, So
I was gonna say, and I think really that's how I've said this, on socials, but I think you keep KD and Book intact, you get Beal to move that trade clause. We're sitting good because we can easily flip Beal for, if not, a decent couple of picks, a player and a pick or two.
yeah, because even though he can't stay healthy, when he is healthy, he does play well. You know what I mean? He's not like he's just some bum.
Well, yeah, no, we know he has the potential to score on any given night, but he's just not been available.
Yeah, and even if he is available, I just don't think that three people of that caliber need to be on the same team in this modern NBA.
No, because they're all so dominant on the they
Yes.
want the ball in their hands. They want the final shot, and you can't have three guys with that mentality.
I think two superstars is the golden ratio. Two superstars and then a bunch of Rory Hachimuras everywhere else.
Right.
That's it.
A part of me wants to shut him down, but another part of me is like, why bother shutting him down? Because it's like he's just gonna sit there and we're just gonna pay him a boatload of money to do what? To be not available at all compared to being barely available. So it's just dumb at this point.
Well, the Suns already screwed themselves trying to shop KD around because now they got to repair that relationship. And if they trade KD, they would be trading essentially what we would get for trading Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, and our whole future round draft picks and everything would be first round exit and getting swept. That would be terrible. It would be the worst trade in NBA history or the worst series of trades in NBA history. So if we do a magical play-in championship deep playoff run,
it definitely reignites the flame at least.
Yeah, hopefully it reignites the flame. We've said
But
that 60 times this year, and the flame hasn't been reignited.
Like you said, the key at the end of no matter how we finish, and we're all hoping it's at least a decent run because we're heading to that play-in most likely at this point. But it just depends on if we can get Beal to be like, all right, yeah, I do want to go play elsewhere, but we'll be fine.
I think the Aaron Rodgers news just broke.
Oh, we got more breaking?
Oh.
Hold
on. Is he a Steeler?
Let's check it out. Sorry, I'm on a whole different phone because I don't want to fucking jeopardize messing up the stream.
Oh.
Sham Sharania.
Had a fucking sneeze attack.
Sham Sharania.
Got so excited.
Whoa. Aaron Rodgers, you are a...
Aaron Rodgers spent about 6 hours at the Steelers training facility today meeting with their coaches. It was said to be a positive visit, and his sides will stay in touch. Oh, very breaking news.
I already saw this.
Ooh.
Wow.
Dang. Well, that's a little blurb, but...
Sorry, guys.
I don't know how that makes me feel. Like... You might, oh my gosh, you might as well have either kept Justin Fields or Russell Wilson if you're going to go in on A-Rod.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing, bro. They're tripping. They got Mason Rudolph in that piece. Wow.
I was going to say, it's just like you have Pickens. You just gave DK Metcalf an insane amount of money to be, a lethal combo, and then you have nobody to give them the damn ball.
You better be well protected because Myles Garrett is still at the Browns, so...
And the thing is, just what drives me nuts is Sure, statistically, Rodgers did not have a horrible year, but a lot of those stats were in garbage time. A lot of those stats were when the
The
game was already out of reach. Like, are
It
you
says
kidding
that they're
me?
working on an agreement, but it's not a source that I can really
Ooh,
say it's right. But it says that he's at the Steelers facility again, and they're working on an agreement.
I definitely see that. But he already got shut out of Minnesota, so thankfully we don't have to see the complete Brett Favre circle.
I was actually hoping for the Brett Favre arc. I really wanted that for him because it gets better in Minnesota, right? Well, I think Favre did good at the Jets. He didn't break his, snap his Achilles and fucking
Right.
not play. He went out there and balled out.
The Jets didn't do, I mean, the Jets could have done better, but Favre with the Vikings actually fared pretty well.
It'll be
But
interesting. It'll be
I think
interesting.
at the end of his career, Favre was a much better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers has shown he is.
Speaking of much better quarterbacks, you know who's a much better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers? K1, Kyler Murray of the Arizona Cardinals. And I'm not saying like career wise, I'm just saying at this current moment. And he's talking about he needs to do more. He didn't do enough last year, and he's talking like franchise Q. So hopefully, we scoop up maybe like Amari Cooper or something. One more guy, you know, and draft well to protect him and see what the Cardinals can do for us this year.
I tell you what, like you mentioned with Amari Cooper, if we did bring him in, that would be just a tremendous upside veteran for Marv to learn from. But as we talked last week with our mock section, I'd be super excited if the Cardinals ended up getting Savion Williams.
Yeah, me too. And now that they brought in Jalen Jones, I'm like, we need to do something about corner. I mean, I think that they like the guys we have. It seems like they like the people that we have. That's how they talk. And I like the people that we have too, but we need two starting corners. We
Well,
need two starting corners.
I think so. Early on in a lot of the mock drafts, everybody obviously had us taking, the obvious edge rusher. But in more
Yes.
recent mock drafts, I've noticed Will Johnson is falling a little bit. And then a couple of mock drafts I've looked at in the past couple of days, they have him falling to us at 16, and I think that'd be a great upside pick.
I mean, that's who I drafted at 16 in my mock draft. He fell to me. That's consistent with my thinking. I don't think the Cardinals are that down on our secondary though. Like every time I hear Jonathan Gannon and Austin Ford talk about it, they talk about it like we got it covered. And I think that they're doubling down on that by signing Jalen Jones after taking a visit with someone like Asante Samuel Jr., who's 25 years old. You know, fits with the timeline of the team. I just don't get why he wasn't a Cardinal that day. You know what I
Well,
mean?
you don't let him leave the facility, in my opinion.
So if they do draft Will Johnson at 16, I'll be the happiest person in the world because I feel like while we didn't completely address edge rusher, there's a bunch of edge rushers in this draft that are going to be pretty good. So I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know about cornerback though.
I was gonna say you can even get decent edge rushers past the first round.
Yeah, I think it's one of those situations where, for me, when I was drafting, I was looking up all these dudes' draft profiles. I'm sure I didn't do half the work that the scouting people at the Cardinals do, but I noticed that if the player is so good, so physically gifted for the position, and there's about 6 or 7 edge rushers still on the board that are going to be there when you draft again here in the next round, you got to go for the player that can be generational at the position.
100%.
And I do believe in Will Johnson on that type of level. So hopefully we can snag him up. But I don't think we're gonna get him though.
See, my thing is, I'm hoping one of the top offensive linemen, projected top 10, fall out of that realm, and we can hit that. See Monty sees that, and either knows he can stay at 16, or slides up just a couple spots and takes that guy that we can put as a mainstay with Paris.
We slide up. We're gonna have to give up future picks because we only have 6 picks this year. If
I
anything,
don't
we
see
would have
us.
to. I would trade back our picks to gain some.
That's the only way I see us trading is backwards. I don't think there's anybody good enough to trade up for. Like I love Will Johnson, and if he falls to us at 16, I'd take him. But I'm not trading up from 16 to get him. You know, no offense to him, he's awesome. I just gushed about him, but trading up from 16 would be stupid unless there's no deals to trade back. Which there's gonna be deals where we can get multiple players, maybe in the second round, because somebody's gonna fall. Maybe Shador Sanders falls to 16. I don't see it happening, but maybe he could. You know, so. I don't know.
I was gonna say, and especially if he fell that far, there's gonna be somebody that's gonna pay a ransom to get.
100%. So I think they're gonna wait for any random situation like that, you know.
And Monty's definitely that kind of GM. He waits to see he waits to see everybody else's hand before he, plays his own.
It'll be an interesting draft. I'm gonna do a video with my mock draft all like lined out, and I'll post it on like the reels or whatever. But
Oh yeah.
excited for the Cardinals this year, man. They're in a position to break our hearts bigger than before by getting to the playoffs and losing then. I'm just kidding. I believe that they can. I want Kyler Murray to win a playoff game, and quite frankly, he needs to win a playoff game this year.
This year.
Yeah, but so some people. Who was it? Damn, I don't want to misquote it. I think it was Peyton Manning or someone that didn't win a playoff game until their 6th year or 7th year. So there's good quarterbacks that went this long without, doing it because their teams were just crap. And he happens to be drafted to the Cardinals, which is like everybody's worst nightmare.
Well, shoot. How long did freaking, even Steve Young had a couple till he got the monkey off of his back behind Joe Montana.
Yeah, I think Kyler's a good Q. He just needs to stay focused down that latter half of the season. And the team, like, I'll put it like this. Certain quarterbacks aren't good at certain stuff. So the team builds around that. The good teams would be like, damn, in the second half of the season, this keeps happening. So maybe we should build a defense that can withstand, because he could still get us at least 17 to 20 points, even in those interception games. So maybe if we get a defense that can go out there and hold the team to 10 points, it won't matter. That's how football works. So,
yeah, because like I said, in the Carolina game last year, like we got off to a rough start. They were on us early, but we came all the way back because of the type of offense we had. And
yeah,
then we're only going to be better going forward.
And then games like the Minnesota game last year, where we start off piping hot and we're beating them, and then they slowly, methodically, get back in the game. We don't score no more points, but the defense can't stop them from doing anything. If the defense was just stout in that game, we go to the playoffs. Or we win the division, or it's different. Like a couple of those games, if we 1 point, 2 point games, the defense can change those games, and sure the offense can change them too. But I feel like Kyler Murray has, the ability to get us up in games and to come back in games. And if the defense was just a little bit better than it is right now, we could probably be very special.
Well, and like you mentioned last year, we had situations where we had teams 3rd and 15, 3rd and etc. And then they'd just break our back, either run it down the middle or find somebody wide open, in the middle. So I think we already improved that right there, because you put a freaking tank like Dalvin Tomlinson in the middle. There's already, more pressure right there. You add Josh Sweat. We already improved right there. And I think just adding those guys net you an extra win or two just on that front, because you don't have those back-breaking plays, because you actually have somebody that can put pressure on the quarterback consistently.
Yeah.
We're a couple more pieces away from that front seven, though, for it to be complete.
I mean, we can go DT in the draft too.
Kenneth Grant. I've been begging for him for weeks.
Just imagine having Michigan on your defensive line and then a guy from Ohio State anchoring your offensive line.
Yeah, and that's what I'm excited about too. The new offensive line coach, the new positional coaches are going to do wonders for those groups, And Nick Rallis, he really did a great job with little to no defensive line help. So even with the guys we have, it's not complete, but it's going to be so much more for him to work with, and I think that's going to really benefit the secondary. And maybe that's why they're not so worried, because if you can create more pressure on the quarterback, then your cornerbacks and your safeties have to do a lot less.
Right. I was gonna say it definitely shows that they have a lot of faith re-signing Browning, and then we still have no, at this point you kind of assume Kaiser White's not coming back.
He's still not
Yeah, we
signed anywhere
assume
else
that,
yet.
but it's still a possibility.
Watch him go to Minnesota.
If he
Because
goes to Minnesota, that'd be great. Oh, speaking of
Minnesota always
Minnesota,
signs their fucking free agents, dude.
they did. Dude, they signed our free agents, and they signed Rondale Moore, bro.
The Vikings?
Did they sign?
Yes, Byron Murphy. I saw this on Byron Murphy's Twitter last night, bro. So Byron Murphy said we're back, and then he had like the gang emoji, and then it's like a hype video. It's a Cardinals hype video of Rondale Moore, and it's not from the official Vikings page, but it's a Vikings fan page. But Byron Murphy retweeted it.
Oh dang.
Yeah. So he's on the Vikings, and I looked more into it, and he signed with the Vikings. So
good for him. He's an explosive player, and I'm glad he's getting another opportunity.
Yeah, he just got hurt really bad.
Especially after that injury last year. That was insane.
I'm surprised he's even able to play football at this rate. He's a superhuman.
But definitely rooting for him. Good for you, Rondell. Go kill that opportunity, man.
Yeah, I was watching his hype tape, and I was like, bro, why did we get rid of this dude? I was like, he's making some crazy plays.
It was a kind guy that Monty was just wanted to let go. And
for sure. That makes sense. He wanted to get rid of those kind time signings.
More like slime time.
I'm dead. No, that excited me though to see him. I hope that Simi Fehiko guy can be something. I watched his highlights. He's a wide receiver from the Chargers, and he's actually pretty decent. I think he's like a second-year player, third-year player, so he's not bad, man. He's like a bigger Rondell, not bigger Rondell, more bigger Greg Dortch is what I meant to say.
Okay. I was gonna say
he gives me Dortch vibes, like he's gets open, he's shifty when he gets the ball, but he's bigger. I like that. So
I was gonna say, and we have more professional coaches this year, so honestly, anybody that they want to bring in or they believe in, I trust them because Nick Ross and Gannon have honestly changed this culture a lot, and they've changed. They've turned a lot of heads in the NFL, and it's only going to get better.
Hey, they're focusing on improving the defense on a crazy level, and they're focusing on the offensive line. And usually the Cardinals, they just exist to like be okay. I feel like they're really getting after it, so I can really be invested. Like it's so bad to stress out and be so in love and so dedicated to something when they're not dedicated to making it better. So I'm happy to see that like they're turning that corner, and Michael Bidwell is getting on board $100 million on a new upgrades to the training facilities, so we don't come in 31st or 32nd again on the report cards.
Literally, that's so bad.
Well, I was gonna say, like I was about to mention, like all we need to do is just let Bidwell sign the checks, let Monty cook, let the coaches take care of the players. Just sit back, relax, man. Don't do anything like Matt Ishba did to the Suns.
Sheesh. Yeah, we're still recovering from that, man. This has been hard. It's been very, very hard.
Dude, what Ishba did to the Suns is like blacking out at a college party and then finding yourself in the woods.
Have we talked about the Suns?
Yeah, we did.
We randomly transitioned the Cardinals.
We can transition back if we need to.
We play the Cavs tonight because we're
That's
talking
gonna
about
be a big game.
we're trying to talk about ignite the spark. We won 2 in a row, but we got the Cavs now. And I really need the Suns to come through for me because I have this smack parlay I would love to win, but I just need these 2 other college teams to win later tonight too. So
There is no time like the present to prove that we can actually beat playoff quality teams because, yes, we've won some games recently, but they've all been against cellar dweller teams like ourselves. So this game goes far in showing that, hey, this season was a big barf bag, but we do have the talent to compete, and we're going to show out and make something of the rest of the way.
Yeah, and Budenholzer's finally using the guys on the bench, Gillespie and the
Done.
Dunn,
So
Oso, Iguodaro. So
We
yeah,
just
I
see
don't
a
know,
little
man.
bit more Ryan Dunn.
If we can, yep, exactly. If we can get at least to the second round of the playoffs, don't fire Bud. But if we don't, I don't know.
I tell you what, I know we've said this all year, but I feel like as long as we have KD, any game is possible.
Yeah,
Yes. I have him at 25 points tonight too, so I need that from him.
that's so funny.
Literally, I
Hey,
need Oklahoma, Xavier, Suns money line, and KD 25, and $995 is mine.
Dylan needs you, KD.
I need all four of you guys.
No, KD needs Dylan. Mm.
I don't know. I don't know what you would think about that.
I mean, hey, KD, come on the show. Oh,
He probably would
That's
have
so
like
funny.
a thing full of hundreds of a middle finger.
We should start looking for guests. So if you guys want to see anybody in particular to be our first guest on the show,
tag
we're
him.
gonna try to harass them and get them on the show to come talk whatever their sport is with us. Maybe one of us knows someone at one of these organizations that will be willing to come talk with us about the future and what we see and what they see, and maybe give us some inside information to help us understand certain moves or things that we got questions about.
100%. I mean, even if you're just local, we want to, hear your story, get involved. You're still a part of the Arizona sports family, and it's just good exposure and good conversation for everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
definitely.
hey, well, if you guys want to stay more involved with us, we do have a group on Facebook where you can come chime in, say your piece, and give your opinion on what you want to talk about in the description, along with our social medias and merch and ways to connect with us there.
We are always available. So any of the pages that we just mentioned or right here, comment and we will get back with you. We will be engaged. We are 100% committed to making this thing work. Get us to those 3 followers by next week. We can go live. Get this thing rolling. The momentum is high.
Guys,
And
that's
Do it for
exciting. This
opening
might be the
day.
last.
this
I'm sorry.
energy
What'd you say?
got us moving.
I said let's do it for opening day, and we can go live on opening day. So
That would be
Right. This
and
might
cover
be
the
the last
D-backs.
one on Streamlabs. That would be crazy.
So start off going 50 on opening day. That would be really cool.
Right. So if this is the last one on Streamlabs, we want to just say thanks to Streamlabs or StreamYards.
thank you, Street.
There went that sponsor.
Hey, we can get Ghost.